Hi, my name is James Shepard, and I'm really excited about this video podcast episode today because I'm doing this series on being organized for success. And I said it in the first video, but I just can't overemphasize the importance of this topic because so few salespeople are truly organized for success. And in this video slash podcast today, this is definitely going to be the shortest one in the series because the tip I'm going to give you is so simple. It's not complicated at all, but it is going to absolutely blow your mind, okay? So the first thing you have to do in order to follow along here is look back at the video yesterday on the building blocks of success, building that block schedule. You need to do that before you do this step, okay? So do that first. Then here's what I want you to do. This is going to blow your mind. Are you ready? You're going to track your time to the minute for a week. Track your time as close as you can. Doesn't have to be exactly to the minute, but as close as you can to the minute for the week. So a couple different ways you can do that. There's tons of journal apps on your phone where you have to click a button to start an activity and then click it again to stop and it automatically tracks it. So look into that. You could just carry around a 3x5 card in your wallet or in your pocket or whatever. Write it down. Don't wait till the end of the day. It's going to be a lot harder. That way you need at least 3 or 4 times throughout the day to kind of stop and be like, okay, what have I done so far today? And again, even if it's not completely exact to the minute, get it as close as you can, but make a commitment that to the best of your ability for 7 days, you are going to track every minute that you've spent and account for every minute as best you can. Then when you get to the end of the week, what you're going to do is, remember that list we made in the last video where it's all the things that are important enough for you to do, and then you have how much time you're going to spend on each of those each week? Well, now you're going to put a line on that paper, and on the other side of the line, you're going to put how much time did I actually spend on these things last week. And 2 things are going to stick out to you that are amazing. The first thing that's going to stick out to you is that you're probably spending an inordinate amount of time on things that aren't even on your list. So you're going to get to the end of the week and be like, wow, I spent 27 hours on stuff that I don't know, where do I even put that? It's not on my list anywhere here. Yeah, you know what that's called? That's called wasting time. And you're doing a lot of it. So am I. We all are, right? And this is going to help to bring some realism into your block schedule. Because what you're going to always be tempted to do is you're going to get this block schedule done, and your block schedule is going to look like the itinerary for a robot. And you're going to have the block schedule of oh yeah, I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go do this, and and it's like your whole day, bum, 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 bum. Then you're going to track your time, and you're like, oh, okay, so every day on average I spend 2 hours watching a sporting event. Where is that on my really important list of things to do? And you know what? There's nothing inherently wrong with that, okay? The question is, you have to waste some time. Everybody does. If we didn't waste some time, we're not robots. We got to enjoy life. If we don't have some entertainment, if we don't do some things that are fun, then, kind of what's the point, right? So we have to have some of that in there, but you've got to have some realism, and you've got to look at that and say, okay, wow, I need to add a whole other category. Usually when I make a block schedule, I'm all about being super honest with myself. I usually have a block in there called wasting time. That's what I call it. I don't put in there, some people it makes them feel better if they put social engagement. It's whatever, developing relationships with friends, whatever, right? No, you're wasting time. Okay, so say that. I have my time block. I waste time. Don't worry. I'm not a robot either. I waste time every day. Every single day I waste time. The difference is I know how much time I'm wasting, and I'm doing it intentionally. And so it's really important if you're going to waste time that you know how much time you're wasting and you put that into your schedule. What's frustrating is when you're like, oh, I can never keep my schedule. Well, yeah, because you're not being realistic. So track your time for a week. So you're going to identify that stuff where you're like, wow, I'm putting a lot of time into stuff that I really shouldn't be. The second thing that's really going to stick out to you is of the things you have on your list, you're probably spending way more time on the urgent things than you are on the important things. And that is a decision of character. That is you saying, you know what, man, as much as I do want to do this, I also want to do this other thing, and there are trade-offs, okay? The problem with scheduling is there's really no right or wrong, which is really just frustrating. If you're like me, I like binary things. I'm like good, bad, right, wrong. I like that, Scheduling just isn't like that. Of course it's good to go to your kid's soccer game. Of course it's good to go prospecting. Of course it's good to, go and take a little time off. Like, there's nothing wrong with any of those things, but you have to pick what you're going to do, and there are trade-offs. So let me give you a couple real quick examples of this before I, in this video, move on to the next one, okay? Many of you are absolutely lying to yourself. You still believe that someday you're going to be a multimillionaire, right? But you go to every single sporting event your child has, okay? Then you come home and watch an hour and a half, 2 hours of Netflix every night. Then you surf the web for a while, right? Then every Thursday you don't work at all because you're hanging out with your friends. And you're like, someday I'm going to be really, really rich. Now, here's the thing. The life I just described, I don't see anything wrong with it at all. I think that's awesome. Cool. You get to watch your favorite show every day. You get to go to all your kids' sporting events, and you get to hang out with your friends a whole day every week. Awesome. Like, you win. If that's what you want for your life, you're a winner. You're never going to be a multimillionaire, but you're a winner. You're making $60,000 a year, $70,000 a year. Psh, awesome. Go for it. But don't kick yourself and be like, I'll tell you what, next year I'm going to make $500,000. No, you're not. I am. You know why? Because I'm not going to be at every single sporting event for my kids. You say, oh my goodness, how can you say that? What a terrible parent. I'm not as good of a parent maybe as I could be because there are inherent trade-offs in that. And I have to have conversations with my kids even now when they're like 6 and 7 years old of, Daddy has work that he believes is really, really important. If you have something that you really want me to come to that you feel like is really important, you tell me, I will be there. But I'm not going to make it to every single thing. I can't take you to, karate practice on Monday night and, this practice on Tuesday and this practice on Wednesday and do all these different things. No, I have some focused time, and my wife will tell you when I'm with my kids, I'm with my kids, I'm playing with my kids, I'm having fun with my kids, I'm talking to my kids, but I don't spend 7 hours a day with my kids. I can't. I can't do that and accomplish the ambitions that I have. And that doesn't make me right and you wrong. It just makes me realistic and you not. So you need to get a grip on what you're spending your time on and make a decision and say, either I'm going to make a decision and say, you know what? There are some sacrifices that need to be made. I'm all about that. Somehow in our, I'll go off on my little tangent here for a second, but somehow in our country we lost the whole idea of sacrifice. Do you realize that, all of the presidents that we had, do you realize that George Washington left home and was gone for 2 years in order to win the, independence, and then he was gone for another 3 years? Like, do you realize that John Adams, in order to help our country, went overseas for 3 years? You know what that's called? That's called sacrifice. And when you want to accomplish something for the greater good and you have ambitions and things that you feel like God wants you to accomplish with your life, it requires sacrifice. And sacrifice looks like I'm doing less of the things that I want to do. Again, is that for everybody? No, because not everybody is going to accomplish big, mega ambitious things. And that's totally fine. Not everybody is supposed to do that. But the key thing is you've got to track your time and look at it and say, realistically, what am I going to do next year? And what am I going to do next week? And what am I going to do tomorrow? How am I going to spend my time? And does that map to my ambitions? My name is James Shepard. Hopefully I gave you a little dose of realism today.